2014, a cracking and determined board game fanatic with the Gen Con to find a game that was seriously legit. These men promptly left Indianapolis with a bag full of games to a basement in the Arkansas Underground. Today, still reviewing and playing games, they survive on snack cakes and Mexican food. If you have YouTube, if you need a second opinion, and if you can't stand a certain level of immaturity, maybe you can watch the BGBC.
Welcome to the Board Game Back Cave 100th episode of all time so far. And we are celebrating that fact by going over the last 100 episodes and picking out our favorite games from them. So we're making a top 5 list of our favorite reviews that we've ever done from the Board Game Back Cave. And the anticipation is building so much. Why don't we just get right into it? And we're going to start out, though, and we have so many to choose from that we're going to do an honorable mention category, which the bat is going to start us off with.
All right, honorable mention. What I have to put out there is something really it's my kids constantly ask for. It is a great family game, and you can play it at any time, any place, and that is Batman Love Letters.
Not just Love Letter. So let me get that straight.
Yep. It is the Batman version of Love Letters.
Who knew?
Yeah, really. Go figure. But the kids ask for it constantly. Anytime we're stuck inside, we're playing that. And we'll play it all afternoon until I can see their eyes rolling up and it's time for a snack and nap time. So that's my honorable mention. It's a constant. It'll be a mainstay for a very long time.
Yeah, it's a good game. I have both, but I would say that my love letter version, regular version, comes out more because I have a daughter who plays, and so she likes the princess aspect more than she likes the Batman aspect.
Yeah, that's a really good game, and it fits in a lot of different. You can play it with people that aren't hardcore gamers, and they might be just a little confused for the first round until they realize just read the card, tells you what you can do and what you can't do, and then that's all it takes, and you're off and running. So that's a really good game.
If a 9-year-old can figure it out that quick, anybody can figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to point out too for this episode in its grandiose nature, I have shaved clean, so I wanted to be presentable, and he went all out.
Thanks guys for dressing up, keeping it classy in the Board Game Back Cave.
Well, somebody has to keep it classy. Mm-hmm. That's not going to be me. It's not going to be him. So. All right, for my honorable mention, this game, I think when we started this whole show back in 2014, this was one of the first games we reviewed, and it shot to the top of my list for several years now, and it's kind of just hung around. I just can't get rid of it because it's just such a fun game, and that is Jamaica. Still one of my favorite artwork of any game. It's simple enough that I can play it with anybody, and yet it's strategic enough that I have fun and I just don't blow it off. And so I still love this game. I don't play it enough. Jamaica.
Yeah, that's a really good game. It's always going to be, whenever I have to compile a top 10 list or a top whatever list, that's going to be one that I'm going to start with. That's going to be on the short list for sure. Will it show up on my list later? Who knows? We don't know. No spoilers here, but yeah, that's a great game.
Yeah, I've played it several times. I really like it. I can't definitely say it's going to be in my top 5, but it would probably definitely be within my top 10.
That's because you got to have taste.
So for my honorable mention, this one was really hard for me to leave off the list, so I was glad we were able to throw just one extra one in there for everybody. This one is Libertalia. This game I really like a lot. I was reviewing Chris's review of our rankings, and I was pleased to see how high everybody else rated that game too. This is a really good game that's in kind of a sort of a category of its own. It's a kind of a unique gameplay experience. It's card driven. It's a trick taking game, sort of. So anyways, Libertalia didn't quite crack it, but it was something that I thought deserved a mention.
That was in my top 10 as well. It's just, I love that game, but I kind of got booted from my list because I don't feel like there's Jamaica is easier to play with more people.
Yeah.
So, you have any comments on Libertalia?
Of course not.
Number 5. Number 5 for me is a kind of relatively new game. I've had my eye on it for years. Finally got around, found me a copy cheap enough that I would purchase it, and I should have bought it from the beginning because it was worth the money. So my number 5 is Colt Express. Yes, I like it that much. It is shot to the top of my list because it has the 3-dimensional figures, and the artwork is cartoony, which I like. And I've not yet played this game where everybody wasn't laughing. And so I think that's a good sign for any game.
That's pretty incredible because, well, you'll see in just a second why that's incredible.
That's incredible.
What did you think about Colt Express, Dave?
Well, I can't say much about it because I have not played it yet.
We're going to have to fix that.
Bum,
Fix
bum,
that really soon.
You're
bum.
going to have to cut out working every night saving the city. It's getting ridiculous. You're missing board game night.
So yeah, that's incredible because, and we didn't share a list before we did this, but my number 5, Colt Express.
Wow.
And I thought I was going to blow y'all's mind with that because I thought this was really a unique game that kind of slid under the radar and people weren't going to think about it. But yeah, this is a game that I think for me benefited from low expectations. I judged this game by the cover, so to speak. I saw it out at a game night. People were playing it, and I thought, that looks ridiculous. What have they done? You know, there's nothing sacred in the board game tabletop community anymore. And then I finally sat down and played it and loved it. Really loved it. This is a fun game with a unique, like movie or storytelling mechanic. It's a ton of fun. So yeah, my number 5, same as Chris. Colt Express.
I'm going to put it on my to-do list.
Definitely,
pretty high.
definitely. So what came in at number 5 for you?
Oh man, number 5. This is a solid 5 for me, and that was the SOS Titanic. I first played this at Gen Con last year, and I fell in love with it. I still have haunting memories of it.
We never win. The ship always sinks.
The best you can do is how many people you can save in this thing. As you go and you start turning the pages, the cards are beautiful. Way it's written out, it gets very dramatic. There's times I had adrenaline dumps. I was worried. I was like, oh my gosh, this is, if it could go wrong, it's going wrong. We're not going to save anybody. And it's just, I loved it. I fell in love with it. I would love to play it again. It's something I want to introduce to my kids. I think they would love it. I believe it's a great family game. So it made a solid 5 for me. It made a great impression on me last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think they took solitaire, which is a game that's been done to death, and they made it interesting with the whole threat of a boat sinking. And it's like you're not gonna save the ship. but you're trying to compete against. Can you get more people off the ship than the original actual ship got off the ship?
Yeah.
And I've done that maybe twice.
They have an actual percentage that you got to match up to.
And I rarely get them. I rarely win or do as well as the crew on the actual Titanic did. So I'm sad to say. And it's a little bit macabre because you're playing the game every time, and every time you're watching these people die. But that's just part of it.
Well, they say drowning is a really peaceful way to go. So
I don't think so.
Anyway, yeah, this is a good game. This is fun, and this is a great gift if you know somebody that likes to play solitaire, just like that has a deck of cards out a lot of time and stuff. You can give them this. It really is sort of a hybrid variation of solitaire, and it's a lot of fun. It kind of wasn't on my radar for this list, but yeah, strong game.
I like it because you can pretty much take it anywhere.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I liked about it. The versatility of where you can go and play this game. That's why it kind of got on my list when I first played it. And I was getting so absorbed, and I was thinking, well, you can do this at home. I can take this, waiting on the wife. Me and the kids could sit at the table at McDonald's and play this while we're waiting on her in Walmart. We could do anything.
Product placement.
That's right. There's two big mentions there. Okay, so I think that brings us over to our number 4s on our list, and my number 4 is going to be Dice Masters. And if we have to make it specific, I'm going to go ahead and nerd out and say the D&D version of Dice Masters.
Wow,
Yeah.
really?
Yep.
You blindsided me with that one.
Yeah. Been a large group of some real superhero fans, and I like that. And there's definitely a lot more variety if you want to go that route with it. But I really liked the way the D&D rules kind of worked with the Dice Masters rules, and but the beauty of that whole system is you can mix all the sets together if you want to, really. So Dice Masters, yeah, that's a really good game for gameplay. It's a great game for collectors. We've got a review for it out there, obviously, or it wouldn't be on this list. So number 4, Dice Masters.
Excellent choice. I wouldn't have chosen the D&D version, but I mean, it's really the same cards a lot of the times. It's just different artwork, so it's really the same game. But yeah, I thought about Dice Masters for my list, and it may be on it.
I thought about it. I got a pretty good collection. I actually went nuts at Gen Con last year and bought a huge box.
Never happens at Gen Con.
And we still get the cards out and look at it. And I'm working on teaching my son how to play. I'm a DC nut, so most of my cards are DC based. My wife is a big Marvel nut, so my boy is a hybrid. He is trying to pick the best of both, and
he's an image,
and screw us both over. But I will say that did not make my top 5 list, but that was tough.
What
was
did make your number 4?
My number 4.
Was that your number 4 or 5?
Yes, it was my number 4.
Okay.
My number 4 is a game that when I first played it last year, I fell in love with it. It is called Flashpoint. It is deals with fire trucks, buildings on fire. I'm caught up in. I'm already thinking about it. I'm getting caught up in it. Working in law enforcement, the whole idea of the fire department playing a part of it means something to me. I can get very engaged into it. It's a very dramatic game. When you start working together, you're so captivated. You're watching it, and you're like, "Don't punch another hole in that wall." You got fires coming in everywhere. You're trying to get the fire trucks around to put out big hot spots. You're trying to get the people out. You got cats. It's everything, man.
It's always the cats. Never the people.
You got to get the cats
always
out, man.
Hiding in the bathroom. Why do they go to the bathroom every time?
I fell in love with it, and one of the things I really like about it is because it's a family game. In my honorable mention and number 5, all of them are pretty much kind of family-based games, and it makes a big difference for me. It helps be able to pull the family together, and I really like that aspect of it. The drama in it is incredible. So it's a solid number 4 for me on my top 5.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about Flashpoint right now.
This is a really good game that's not going to show up in my top 5 today, but I lingered on it for a while, and I've come away with every time I've played it, it's been a good time. You don't succeed all the time for sure, but it's always fun. So yeah, this was well done, and I think it's to me it's a hard concept to put into a board game, but I think they did a great job of it.
All right, but my number 4 is what's not to love about Cthulhu and the Wild West and A Million Pieces. Shadows of Brimstone. The only one we reviewed this year was, or maybe it was last year, was the Swamps of Death version, and that's the only one I played. But what a game! It's like a role-playing game thrown in with board game with Cthulhu and Wild West. All you got to do is put a soundtrack with it, and you won me over. And I mean, my words don't work. It's a great game. It's just so epic that it's hard to get to the table, and so that kind of why it doesn't just fulfill every need I have, because I can't play it very often, and you can't play it by yourself, and when you do play it, you have to take over everything on the table, and you have to make sure you plan way ahead. Plus the campaign mode, where you actually write down your character's experience points in advance. They're going to advance really slow, because you're not going to get this game out more than once or twice a millennium. But that being said, I would do it anytime. So, Shadows of Brimstone, number 4.
Ton of fun this game is. I think that's a direct quote from Yoda.
I was going to say, that was a little Yoda in there, wasn't it?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. This would probably have been my honorable mention. It just barely missed the list, and I think praised this one just about as highly as any game we've reviewed. This was a ton of fun, and you get a lot with this game for sure.
I've watched this game, but I personally didn't get to play.
Yeah, you played this game.
No, I didn't get to play a game.
Didn't he play this?
I think you played the game.
No, I didn't play it.
I think it was so fun you went insane.
Yeah,
The madness got you.
I believe that was the night we had so many people that was played on one end and we played another game on the other side.
No, I think you were drinking cough medicine or something.
That or your evil twin came that night, one or the other.
Okay. Like I said, I remember the game, but I don't remember playing it.
It must have been a great game. You can't remember anything about it.
It didn't make my top 5.
Well, we won't let him speak anymore on that subject. Which is Flashpoint. Imagine that. I love this game, even though I think the game is looks very simple. I mean, the components are blah. It's kind of like the black cubes for the wall strength and stuff. Nothing's flashy about this game. It's very two-dimensional.
See what you did there.
It's very two-dimensional, even though it has three-dimensional little figures. I think all the add-ons to it make this game so much more fun, and my kids love it, my wife loves it, my family loves it. I mean, it's just a great game. This literally, we play more than probably anything else in my top 5 throughout a year, because it is that easy to get to the table, and everybody knows the rules in my house. So, Flashpoint, Fire Rescue, we've already pretty much summed up what we all thought about it.
No doubt. So my number 3 is going to be Star Wars.
Which one?
Which one will it be? X-Wing Miniatures. Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures. each of the 5 games on my list are going to be of a slightly different category, and so this is going to cover the miniatures category, but it belongs in the top 5 list in my opinion regardless. But I think they took a tactical game for your strategy and your war gamers, and then they gave you some really cool pre-painted minis that you can, of course, you can go ahead and detail them up and make them your own, customize them if you want to, but if you don't want to, they already look great out of the box or out of the lucite, whatever you want to call it. And you know, it gives you what you need. The cards, everything. It's great for collectors. It's good for the strategy gamers. It's good for war gamers. It's perfect for Star Wars nerds. It's got it all. So for me, number 3, Star Wars minis.
I mean, we're not nerds at all.
Well, no, I say that. That's a good term. I don't say that with
as a derogatory thing.
no.
We embrace that.
To quote the famous and great Steve Ditko, enough said, it's Star Wars. Enough said.
My number 3 is the exact same.
There
So
we go.
everything he said, I'll just put epic on it. The miniatures, I love playing it. I love playing it. When it comes up guy night and they say, "Oh, we're playing X-Wing night," you know, I got to make sure everything's clear. I got to get over there. You know, I love it. I don't go to the extreme with some of the guys where they got like suitcases of stuff when they show up.
And that's your problem.
Well, you know, I have a soccer team to raise, so I don't have the fundage to be able to put into that. But I truly love it. I truly love the game. It is a solid 3 on my list.
I guess we've all done our number 3, so you would be number 2.
Sweet. Moves over to number 2. Number 2 for me, this might surprise a few people because I don't think I've been shy about my opinion on zombie games, but number 2 for me is Dead of Winter.
I know, that shocked me.
It just shows that I can be open-minded, that I will give it a try.
It's going to come back to haunt him every time.
I just think the Crossroads card mechanic is genius, and then the story that they built into the game, and for the multitudes of the zombie fans that are undoubtedly out there, you know, they've got a hit right there on it. So this was really strong. I believe it may be our top-rated game of all time. I think
It is
It's got to be
number.
really close if it's not.
It is.
Yeah.
It is our top rated game.
So shouldn't come as a surprise, other than my usual opinion on that type of game. But Dead of Winter, number 2 for me.
I love the game. I'm not going to go too much into it because it may show up later. But it surprised me that Mikey brought it up because I was like, he hates zombies. It's been zombie to death. Everything's zombie. It's
Like a
You
real
make some
zombie.
good points there.
That is my number 2 as well.
Wow. There
Dead
you
of
go.
Winter. It is not only our top rated game of all time for the Board Game Batcave, it is, I think, our best video or review intro. So we put a lot of time and effort into that one because we like the game so much. I have no problem with zombies if they're done well. And now Gen Con, I think this year, is coming out with the sequel, which is a standalone game, but also can be used as a expansion, the Long Dark Night or Long Dead Night or something like that.
yeah.
Wow.
And so Dead of Winter's, we're going to have lots to look at this year in the Dead of Winter
I
category.
cannot wait. I'm sitting there just fidgeting thinking about it.
So yes, Dead of Winter, number 2 for me also.
Fantastic.
My number 2, it's not a zombie game, but it is such a solid number 2. I still wake up at 1 or 2 in the morning with the giggles thinking about this game.
I already know what it is, just from my description.
I love the game. It is not a family game by any stretch of the imagination. It is Sons of Anarchy. I love this game.
Oh.
It is an awesome game to get with the guys. and be able to play this. Or girls, you know, if you're open-minded and don't mind having things exploited.
Like the TV show.
Yeah, if you watch the TV show, you will love this game. I mean, a lot of it's based off of it. It is every man for themselves. You can screw your buddy in this, so it'd be a great game to sit around and drink and just cut up and let things go. I can't praise it enough. I truly love this game. It is a solid number 2. So you need to go buy this game and go play this.
I am surprised that we haven't played it more.
Yeah.
Because I thought we all had a fun time when we played it, and it just never made it back. I did see where there's you can get another gang as an expansion, which I need to do. So because I think the problem is that it's 4-player only.
That is the problem for our
max, and our group is just large, and so somebody has to sit out. So maybe you can get at Gen Con, we can grab that expansion pack, add a few gangs onto it, and
I'm gonna make a note on it. Odds are, that'll be the thing I go for up there.
Yeah, this is a really fun game. It didn't make my list, but it definitely leaves you with a smile on your face. You have a pretty good time with this game, you know. So, yeah, this is a good time for
Unless you're Jared, you don't like the game.
All right, so I think that then takes us right to your number 1, I think.
My number 1 was his number 2. I love this game, Dead of Winter. We done a skit about it. We fell in love with it. It is everything he said. The crossover cards make all the difference in the world. You could tell these people put a lot of time and thought into putting this game together. The meeples are everywhere. It can get insane so quickly, especially if you're not working together. And the whole concept of having a betrayer in there that just screws everything up is just great.
There may or may not be a betrayer.
Right.
Kind of like the Shadows of over Camelot. Yeah. It's you could everybody's as soon as you say something wrong, you instantly think they're a betrayer. But there's a chance that nobody's a betrayer.
Right. You could just wanting to screw people's heads.
Just be paranoia killing you.
I really love this game. It can be a rather long game. You got to have time. When you got everybody there and it's going, you need to make sure you allot the time to be able to play the game, or have a space where you can leave everything out without it getting screwed up and come back to it. That's the only little drawback to it, I think about it, because it does take a little bit of time to really play the game and play it out right. Outside of that, it's solid number 1 for me. Anytime that my friends want to come out and play it, I would be more than happy to lay this stuff out.
Yep, really, really good game. And again, that crossroad card component, if you're not familiar with it, basically one player it's a cooperative game, but there's going to be a player that is not the player making the actions right now, and he's reading this card that's going to say, if the active player does A, then you read this part. If he does B, you read this, or maybe he's not going to do any of those options. So you have this tension where there's someone staring at the player the whole time, just waiting to see if they're going to do something that's on this list that's going to trigger some.
What's the drunk Santa going to do?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So we've definitely covered it, but yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and I've already said my piece on it, so I'm going to jump to my number 1, which is X-Wing Miniatures. This would not have made number 1 if it weren't for the fact that the online cooperative game that makes it cooperative.
Oh, yeah, good point.
That is what drives this home for me, because as it sits on the shelf, it's only a 2-player game, really, or maybe a 4-player. They have a 2 version and a 4-player version. 2-player games for me that are limited to 1 against 1 is like chess. That never happens at my house. We always have a group playing, and so that would never come to the table if it were for that. But when we put the cooperative element into it and the campaign element, that became fun. Then it became a reason to collect the ships, a reason for me to buy more X-Wings or more TIE fighters that I don't really need.
Oh yeah, you do.
Well, yeah.
When you get that text, hey, they're having Fire sale.
Yeah, my wallet didn't like it, but I did. And they're collectible, which I'm a collector, maybe you can see. So, yeah, it's number one for me just for that reason. It beat out everything else because of the cooperative input on it.
Yeah, there's no question. You know, Dave and I have already mentioned in our list, but that is a good point.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun out of the box as a two-player game, or you can team up. I think you really can kind of you base it on a point system, and each team can spend as many points to make it equal and stuff. So you can expand it out to more than a two-player game pretty quick. But what we really grabbed onto and really had a great time with was that cooperative option.
And we're going to try, I think, in the next couple of weeks, one of our group is buying up all the stuff to do the Battle of Indoor, and we're going to try to do the attack on Indoor. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. He's got little AT-AT walkers and little.
Shout out, Phil.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. Can't wait. That'd be your number one.
My number one. What will it
Could
be?
it be?
Well,
What
since
will
we've seen it
it be?
So yeah, it's almost not even fair, but I'm not the only one. This game was our first game to review on this channel, and it has remained highly ranked even with the almost 50 games we've reviewed now on this channel. So
Was this number one in your other top 5?
it was
Always
yeah,
his number one.
My number one. So if you haven't guessed already, Robinson Crusoe, Adventures on the Cursed Island, Ignacy Trezwick. Whatever, fantastic. I love this game. It's been said before. You can watch the reviews, you can watch the top 10 lists, all that kind of stuff. It's really not fair because this game was made for me. You know, it's just how it goes. A Batman theme or something's going to hit the guy down here pretty good. So, but this game that's maybe my favorite book or one of my favorite books. And I like that whole theme.
He likes being alone.
I love that it's got the solo option, and it really, truly works. It's not some workaround or gimmick or anything. And I actually like the fact that you're probably going to lose. You all will almost always lose, but you're going to have a good time losing, if that's possible. So my number one, Robinson Crusoe again.
I really like that game too, and I'd like to play the King Kong scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I never got to play, which I always wanted to.
Yeah.
And I don't own this game, but I'm waiting for it. It just won't come down in price. I want it to come down in price.
True.
It's still so popular. I think they're reprinting it this year. Another run of printing, so I think it's going to come down in price when they do that, and so I'll grab it then.
What's it been running for right now?
It's like $50 everywhere. You can't get it for less than $55,
yeah,
maybe.
Still up there.
And I want it. I don't want to pay that much. I'm
But
chintzy.
and that price too, I'll tell you just how much the game is still wanted and how much it's valued.
I think the first run sold out. That's why they're reprinting. All right. So there you have it. The top 5 games that we've reviewed in the last 2 years. 100 episodes worth. Please leave us a comment. So games that you might like to see in the future. We are going on a big shopping spree at Gen Con soon. So we will need to pick up some new games. And your comments could influence us.
Tell us what you like. Tell us what you want. You know, if we already have it, we'll make sure we play it. If we don't have it,
Maybe
we will be looking for it.
Uh,
Or send us a game.
And stick around in the credits. Not only was our intro new and improved this week, our outro is going to be just as unique because we're going to put what we've ranked every game we've ever reviewed in the credits. So until next week, we'll see you then with a brand new game. We'll start another 2 years and another 100 episodes and maybe another 500 subscribers. And until then, thanks for watching.
Take care, guys. We love you.
Bye.